For joining us, ladies. Let's see. I know it takes a little bit to cross over, so let's. We are live. Welcome everybody to this wonderful event. We're so excited to be here. And Jane, Sherry, Kristin, and me, we're going to be talking about a conversation that we really should be talking about more, especially when we're communicating with others through social media. So who am I? My name is Martha Lobos Amaya. I am the founder of Connect Impact Hub. We're on a mission to end homelessness. And I'm going to pass the mic over to Jane to introduce herself. Thank you.
Hola, everybody. I am so happy that Martha pushed me to have this conversation. At first, I was really resistant just because, it's not a fun conversation to have, but she really stressed the importance of safeguarding us against, the online dangers. And so being able to have my three sisters here to have the conversation really helped me kind of step out of my comfort zone to have this conversation. So I'm going to pass the mic to Cherry.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Cherry, and I am happy to be here. It's very important that we bring awareness for the creepers and scammers out there because we all are empathetic at heart and all four of us. And I would just love to have a conversation with you all after listening to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sherry and Jane. Kristin, you got the mic.
Hi, my name is Kristin Vaughn. I work traditionally in the anti-trafficking space, but that comes a lot with working, to safeguard online, situations. There's been a few situations recently that I've been really concerned about that some of my sisters have faced, and just knowing, I love that you guys are doing this. Thank you so much for including me, and just yeah, I hope that we're able to offer some practical and some actionable things that people can do to protect themselves, to identify when there's an issue, and then what to do if something does happen. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Kristin. And with that, I'm going to pass the baton to Jane.
Thank you, Martha. So originally, the reason why, what sparked this was I had what I'm going to call a stalker recently. And normally, I just ignore the behavior. What happened was I was seeing this person, in the same audio room, and they decided to share screenshots of me in the audio rooms. They direct messaged me, and then they also shared those screenshots in those events in the comments. Initially, I ignored all of it, DMs, all of that, and then I actually decided to call them out. And then I blocked them because that behavior is not okay. And I think it's really important that we keep an eye on that kind of things. It happens, I have to say, too regular for me, like almost on a weekly basis. Sometimes more than not. What I do is I kind of keep track of patterns of behaviors, and 99% of the time, if they're stalking me, they're stalking my network. And so as soon as I see that, I can let my network know, and 9 out of 10 times they'll be like, oh yeah, they reached out to me too. They did this, they did that. So that's my pretty typical experience. They first, what they would do is they would, actually, you know what? I'm going to have everyone share their experience, and then we'll talk about pattern of behavior and red flags. So I'm going to pass it to Cherry.
Aloha. My story is one of where I wish that I knew better in setting boundaries. So mine is I was talking to a gentleman from another country, and we developed a friendship. And one of his requests was for me to um, deposit money into my bank account. I'm very embarrassed about this, but I didn't give him any money. What ended up happening was through information that I gave him, he found out what city and state I lived in and what bank I went to. And he actually mailed a $18,000 check to my bank. My bank was unable to reach me. They deposited this amount, and the authorities were involved. And then my friend disappeared. Months later, my friend reappeared, and this time from knowing my name, all he has to look up in the white pages is my address. He sent another check. This check was $16,000. So I actually have a investigation going on, but the thing is that the money. I think it's important that I share, please, that what I was supposed to do was I was supposed to deposit the money, and then it was an embezzling scam. And then I was supposed to withdraw it from a cash machine, and then it was supposed to be in Bitcoins, and then I was supposed to send the money to this gentleman. So the sad story of it all, as I was speaking with authorities, is that this money was most likely a romance scheme from someone else who did give this gentleman money. So perhaps my story is a word of caution. I let this experience happen, and I did report it. However, I don't know, because I haven't heard any feedback from LinkedIn, how that progression is going on. So thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Sherry, for sharing that unfortunate situation that you went through. And we thank you for, being vulnerable and sharing this with us. I've had 2 scenarios so far, and I've been very vocal about one of them. When I started speaking about what I'm doing and being more in the audio events, I had a particularly young lady that connected with me, but she would never come on camera. She always wanted to converse off camera. And I was doing an event where we were communicating on Zoom. It was like a 90-day resolution type of event. And she would come and meet with us. And I started realizing that she was asking questions. She was getting to know everybody, but we didn't really know her that well. A lot of the information she was providing made sense. And then on our last call, her story made no sense. It went from I live here, oh no, I'm here. Well, how are you there when you just told me you're here because you can't leave? So the story just didn't make sense, right? So I immediately told her, I'm expecting transparency as I'm being as transparent with my life with you, and I'm expecting the same in return. And her reply was, well, I don't have to tell you anything. And she's absolutely correct. You don't have to share anything. But when you're sharing your life and you're talking with someone in a private setting, such as Zoom, you're expecting that's going to be in return. So that relationship was cut immediately because I felt not safe. It was not a safe space. And there was no way in heck I was going to continue that conversation with my network involved, because this is where my community now is trusting me that I'm making the right choice by connecting with this individual. So that ended. And so I blocked her. That's what I did. I just blocked her, and I told her that I didn't appreciate I didn't appreciate dishonesty. So that's how that ended. And then the second, I've had two so far, actually. Two men have reached out, and they were more on the dating scene. One, I had posted I was a single mom, and he made a comment about me being a single mom, and it wasn't an appropriate comment. So I immediately reported it and blocked him. And then I had another gentleman that wanted to go back and forth about a question. He never asked the question. He was just trying to get a reaction. I blocked him because we're not here on LinkedIn to go back and forth. We're really here to connect. At least I am. So that's a little bit about what happened with those situations. And yeah, I'll pass the mic over to Kristin. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. And, Cherry and Jane and Marsha, all of you, like, just thank you for being vulnerable enough to have this conversation. Like, this is a conversation that needs to be had. My experience just with like online BS has been varied. A lot of you know the work that I work in. We get a lot of, I call them wackadoodles. That's my name for them. That could be male or female. It could be just people that are coming into your DMs, on your comments, your emails, your social media, and are just not appropriate, and that don't feel safe, or that'll reach out to you and be like, oh, and there's this one particular situation. And again, of course, I'm not going to say any names or anything, but there is someone that frequently joins a lot of the rooms. I used to join in. I've not seen him recently, thank goodness. But he had friended me and he messaged me and he was like, oh, I'm an anti-trafficking expert in such and such country. I really want to provide services for you girls, or just comments like that. And I was like, okay, what country are you in? Like, what exactly do you do? Do you have an organization? Like, what? And he never, but it very much felt, he was like, oh, I can help save you. I can help rescue you. I can help rescue girls. Like, it was very much, it wasn't like legit at all. And then I noticed a friend of mine, one of my best friends actually, had posted maybe a week later. She was like, hey, stay away from this certain person. He's going through our friend list. And so what this guy was doing, he is a quote unquote healthcare professional in a certain country that works in anti-trafficking. And what he's been doing is going through, this is about 3 or 4 months ago, was going through our connections and our people and looking for survivors and contacting them all individually. And they were like, how do you know who I am? How do you know? And then they were all like, Kristin, do you know this person? Like, and I'm like, no, I don't know him. And they're like, well, oh, he said he's your friend. So he's literally going to other survivors being like, oh, Kristin referred me to you. Never met this man in my life. No clue. Anyways, it's all been reported. It's all everything. But then I'll notice he'll pop up sometimes in rooms, and there are other healthcare professionals that will be like, oh, look at this great work that this healthcare professional is doing. And, because we don't want to, we always want to err on the side of caution, A, but always, we feel like we need to, but always B, we don't want to be the girls with the drama. You know what I mean? So we don't want to be like, well, let me tell you what this dude did to me. So it's like, I don't want to like put him on blast, but I want to put him on blast. But professionally, we can't do that. So it's really trying to find, for me, is trying to find line, finding that like tightrope line to walk between keeping me safe, keeping my community safe, but also making sure that we're not harming another individual that just may be in a situation, whatever, could be a creeper, could not, whatever. But first and foremost, I have to keep myself safe. I have to keep my network safe. And LinkedIn is very, and you guys know, all three of you know, and people listening know, Crystal, everybody that's on here, that are listening, you guys are my family. Like I will protect you guys. Like I will protect a girl sitting here right next beside of me in person. And so I'm going to make sure that my connections and the people that I associate with are safe people. And if I get one hint that they're not, they're gone. So I'm really just excited to be here. And I do know that all of this that we're going to be talking about comes from a huge place of we're overcomers. We're world changers. Like Jane always says, we're doers. And so being able to have this conversation, like, I'm just proud of you guys. Y'all are awesome. I love you. And I'm really excited about this. So
Thank you so much. We love you too. I love all you all. I'm so glad we're here. I just want to acknowledge a couple of our audience that's here with us. I see David. Hey, ladies. Thank you so much, David. Great to see you. Yay, Noni Pepperoni. Welcome. Sharon, welcome. Hello, ladies. We got Alden. Hi, Jane. Whoop, whoop. We got Chris. Good evening, Miss Martha, Miss Sherry, Miss Jane. God bless you. Blessed evenings. Thank you so much, Chris. So great to see you. Sharon, if I'm unsure of someone and their intentions, I say no or block. Good job. We got Kristin. Hey, everyone. She went on there. Woohoo. Miss Noni. This is Chris. Chris. Good evening, Miss Noni. Thank you, Chris. Always showing the love. Kristin, welcome. Sherry Holmes, OMG. Woohoo. We got Lisa in the building. 4 powerful ladies. Thank you, Martha, for the invite. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you, Lisa. Crystal, hey sisters, Martha, Kristin, do you want me to make a recording? Yes, sister, please make the recording for YouTube. We appreciate you and your skills. I'm still working on that. We got Chris here, Miss Sherry, OMG, yep. We got Crystal, thank you for sharing your heart and story with us. Thank you so much, Crystal. We got Gregory in the house. Important conversation and understand how bad actors and predators mask themselves and deceive in order to gain access and manipulate. Exactly. This is a hot topic. Keith, thank you. What's wrong with people? Shaking my head. That's what we said. Keith, I'm not going back and forth at all. Block button. It's way too easy. We agree with you on that. Leslie, tell it, sisters, truth. When we got Sharon, thanks for transparency. You're welcome, Sherry. Thank you, Chris. And Crystal again. Yes, very much. I have wacka. Oh, I can't even pronounce that. I apologize, Crystal. All right, I'm going to send the mic over now to
Marsha, it's wackadoodles. It's wackadoodles. It's a term. It's a technical term that we use in this space.
I haven't seen it, guys. I haven't seen it. Hello, Alexandria. Welcome to the building. Woo hoo! Loving the vibes from everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And I am heading back to Jane. Jane, you got the mic.
Thank you, everyone who showed up to support us and learn and hear and share. I wanted to loop back to Cherry really quickly. I am so sorry that you experienced that, but it is very common. I have a friend who experienced the same thing. I tried to help extract her from the situation, but she really believed that that was her person and that was her man, unfortunately, and she was definitely an elderly target. And it was a romance scam. And again, I tried my best to help her out of the situation, and she really truly believes it, and I had to step away because I couldn't get her to see it. But let's go to patterns of behaviors and some red flags and some tactics. So patterns of behavior. The most common ones I notice are first a familiar face that is in almost all of my the same audio rooms I'm attending. Reacts to all of my posts, like all of them. From hi little puppy, I can't help but acknowledge that. But reacts to all of my posts, like old months, year, whatever. And then I see them, in doing very similar behavior in my network, in my circle. So those are the patterns of behavior, like most common ones that I see. Others are, they will message me saying they know so-and-so, and they will message others saying they know so-and-so. I believe that they use our empathetic hearts, and that's their shopping ground. They're like, oh, these women are so empathetic and kind. I'm going to infiltrate and get, them to feel sorry for me and help me and X, Y, and Z. I definitely feel like they are, they know exactly what they're doing. This is their shopping ground, and we have to be hyper vigilant, and we need to look out for each other. I'm going to pass it to Kristin to add.
Yeah, so I've experienced a little bit of the same thing. So there was like, if we're going to talk specifically about just LinkedIn. So Noni and I do this amazing group. If I'm here's my shameless plug. Tonight at midnight Eastern Standard Time, we do a singing group. You don't got to sing. You're not going to do anything. You can just come and listen. It's super fun. And so, but we've had several situations, and I know that she's had them in her other rooms as well. I'm sorry, Noni, if this is not, I think it's public information, so I'm sorry if I just totally outed her. But there have been several situations, Noni and I and Cherry, like all of us have experienced several different people that are like, they'll just comment on everything, and they'll, come to our rooms, and they'll, try to like over talk everyone and interrupt everyone. And it's like they try to take it hostage, and like people want to be polite, so nobody will like kick them off stage, and they just let them talk. And it's like, it's a lot of it is so inappropriate. And so knowing how to respond to this, because again, like Jane said, we're all very empathetic people. Like, I think all four of us are 100% like, you have to really, really, really do something really, really, really bad for us to like, okay, we don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, we will probably let a lot of stuff go. And I know a lot of women that are and men too, that are listening right now, are probably the same way. Like, you really have to push us really far before we're going to kick you out of our room, before we're going to block you, before we're going to, you know what I mean? And it hurts us to do that. It hurts me because in my brain, I'm like, well, I don't know what this person's going through. Maybe they're just going through something, and they need to find some community. And I don't want to be the one to send them over the edge. And I don't, I want to be there, and I want to be, but you know what? That has to stop. Like that has to stop. We have to come to a place to where we have to take care of ourselves and our community first. And so that's, yeah. So that's all.
Yeah, I agree with the shares everyone has said up to date. I do see a couple of comments that I'd like to share with you ladies right now. Keith said, that's weird. LinkedIn has turned weird. We have Christine said, yeah, I'm considering taking a break from LinkedIn. So crazy. There are no safe spaces, truly.
And can I interrupt you, Marcia, real quick? I'm sorry, Christine, that you feel that way. I'm sorry that you've had that experience. And I'm sorry that LinkedIn has done that, because LinkedIn, that is not what LinkedIn is for. You know what I mean? LinkedIn has been like, for the most part for me, and I think for a lot of us, LinkedIn has been like a beautiful, I call it the adult social media. And I get these, but I do understand you. I get these weird things that happen every now and then to where, like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with LinkedIn. And that is so messed up that, like, and I do know people that have reported different things, and then LinkedIn customer service or whatever. I don't even know if they got anybody working in that office. It might just be like one dude with a computer. Like, when you do report something and you're like, oh, this goes against community guidelines, and they email you back and they're like, no, it doesn't go against community guidelines. And it doesn't even make sense. And so I'm sorry, Christine, that you've had that experience. That sucks. I mean, I've had that experience too. And I think that us learning to, or not even learning to, but like, I don't know, like, what are some actionable steps we can take? Like, like tagging LinkedIn and posts about, I don't know, like, I don't even know what the answer to that is, but I do think it's very, very important, because LinkedIn has the potential to be like literally the best social media platform ever. There's a few things they need to fix, and this is one of them. This is a giant one.
Kristin, may I say something to Christine?
Go ahead, Sherry.
Okay, thank you. Aloha, Christine. I'm really sorry as well that that's happening to you. My heart goes out to you. Um, my recommendation, and I've had to learn this the hard way, is to always communicate within LinkedIn's platform versus what I found when someone asked me to go elsewhere, especially like WhatsApp, places where there's no record, there's encryption, and that's where I don't recommend going elsewhere, because then you have a record of the communication. Take care, my friend.
Thank you so much, Sherry. I'm so sorry. I got a little distracted here with Jane's fingers. That's why I was laughing. I was not laughing at Christine. That's a serious issue there that we're facing here on social media. I wanted to acknowledge also Crystal. She has here, unfortunately, there are some evil people in the world who will do whatever they can to stop leaders like us from having an impact and helping others. Love you, sis, Kristin. Thank you. As far as what I'm seeing on LinkedIn is a lot of profiles. I'm getting a lot of connections lately with profiles that don't have pictures and that don't have anyone that I'm either connected with. We'll have one person that's, I'm not going to mention who, but it's someone here in the panel with us right now. And they'll send me a connection request, actually just to follow. They will not send me a connection request. And I'll review their profile and I'll actually report it and block it, because there is no way I can tell this is a real person. And I'm getting literally at least 5 a day. And so how can we all help one another is reporting these profiles. If there's no picture, I like picture. And I also like the little stamp that you get that you are verified. That is really important to me. And anytime I do connect with somebody, I do ask for a coffee chat. I've had a request for connection and they wanted to talk to me about services. And I immediately say, let's have a coffee chat. And they kindly declined. They kindly declined. They said, no, I'm not interested in having a coffee chat because it's pointless when you can go to my LinkedIn profile and see what I do. So I removed them. I don't need to be connected with you if we can't have a conversation. So I'll go ahead and pass the mic back over to Jay. Thank you.
Great point, Martha. I'm going to be super transparent and honest. I probably decline 99.7% of my connection requests because I will go through the profile. I will take like 47 seconds to skim. If it doesn't have anything relevant to anything that I do or anything that I know my network would be interested in, decline. Again, like Martha said, the verification is super duper important to me. I check their history, posting, commenting, literally their activity. Are they, doing what I said? Are they liking all my posts, my network's posts, or X, Y, and Z? So when I get a connection request, I will take the time to find out who you are. And like I said, 99.7% of the time I will decline. I take my connections very seriously. I'm very intentional about my connections. I try to keep it around or under 500 because I like to engage and interact with you. I don't collect connections and you sit there. I actually, every couple months, I go through and I kind of spring clean my connections, and I disconnect from people that, we just didn't engage. We didn't, the purpose was to connect and engage and support each other and whatnot. So that will happen. So I think it's really important when we do get a connection request, do our due diligence, take a look at who they are, what they do. I know oftentimes I think we automatically see that, see a connection request and we're like, oh, Martha is a familiar connection, or Cherry's a familiar connection, or Kristin, but I don't do that. So I recommend when you're, accepting connection requests, do a little research, take, like 47 seconds like I did, or, don't feel the need to accept it right away. It's okay that it sits there a little bit, and if it sits there too long and they don't want to connect anymore, they can disconnect. And if that's the case, you guys weren't meant to connect. So I do want to talk about some patterns of behavior, red flags, but I want Kristin to chime in a little bit.
So I just wanted to share. So a lot of people know that I do open source. I'm sorry. I do open source intelligence. And there are a lot of very free tools. And I will leave all of these resources in the chat for the event. I can't do it right now because my ADHD is only allowing me to do like 4 things right now. And I'm trying to plug on my computer and cook dinner. And but I'll do it in just a few minutes. But there's some resources where you can, you can look up someone's email and you can see like, okay, how long has this person had this email address? You can look up and see. I mean, there's so many. This is how we literally find people that are being trafficked, or we find traffickers. So you can use those tools. They're all free. There's tons of them, and they're so easy to use. And you can type in someone's name, someone's email. You could do a reverse image search, and you can find out. And if it's like, oh, this person has had this email for 2 weeks or 6 weeks, or it'll come back a verified email, or it'll come back a non-verified email. Like literally, like, and I like everybody on this panel I've told, like, if you're gonna date somebody, please come talk to me first. We can have a whole background check on them in like 30 minutes, like probably less than that. Like, don't even speak to anybody until you come talk to me, because this is my jam. This is what I do. So, but these are free tools. These are not proprietary tools that like I work for a company and I have these things. These are things that people have developed to be able to go and find out this information. And it's all publicly identifiable. Publicly available information. So I am happy to, there's an amazing individual. His name is Griffin Glenn. He works for the National Child Protection Task Force. He's got a whole tool set, or a whole toolkit. There's also, there's so many. So I will include the links and just play with them, play around with them. And anybody, like, and honestly, like, I will put this out there, like, because I care about my community so much, because I care about like our people and our family. Like, if you have a concern with someone, shoot me a text message, shoot me an email and be like, hey, I'm concerned about this. This is something that's going on. Give me 15, 20 minutes to look it up and we'll see. It may be something, it may be not. I'm happy to offer that to anybody that needs, and I'm not just talking about women, I'm talking about anybody. If you see something suspicious, if it doesn't feel right or if it feels too good, something's off. You know what I mean? The other thing too, and I'm just gonna, because we have a chat, and I don't know if Martha shared it. I mean, if Jane shared it, because your volume is so low, it's hard for me to hear. But Jane shared about Marsha about not to click on any links, and Sherry shared about not going out of LinkedIn. So there is okay. So there's a guy that was purporting to me to be the next prince of, I don't know, Egypt or Saudi Arabia or something, and was like, but let's move this chat to WhatsApp. Please don't tell anybody that I contacted you. I have to be really undercover. But he had exactly copied the profile of the actual, like, prince or whatever. I mean, and I knew it was total BS, but I was like, but it, like, and his very first thing was, well, let's go to WhatsApp because I get better messaging there. So if somebody's like, let's go to WhatsApp, what is your phone number? What is your email? Like, no. And your phone number and your email, unless it's a work email or a work phone to your office, should not be on your LinkedIn, period. Your birthday should not be on your LinkedIn. Those publicly identifiable things to where someone can find those things. No, that's none of that should be on your social media. Like, I feel like everybody needs to do a social media audit, because we all are so trusting, and we all just believe that everyone is inherently good and everyone is inherently not nefarious and is going to help us. And that is just not the case. That is not the case. People are not, the majority of the people are decent, but there is a large group of people that are terrible human beings and will hurt you, will emotionally, mentally, potentially physically. They will get your money. They will take your time. And we ain't got time for that. Like everybody on the stage, like we're all doing stuff. We ain't got time for that. So if you have a situation where you're like, hey, this doesn't feel right, something's up, please text me, email me, call me. You know, I think everybody that can get in touch with me knows my information. And I've been very, very careful about keeping my social media locked down. And I've noticed that, like, the more visible that I become with like different podcasts or different things, I get a lot more wackadoodles. So and that's gonna happen for you three as well. Or if it, I'm sure it's already happened. You know, when we're doing organizations and we're fighting the good fight, there are people in this world that don't want to see us succeed. There are people in this world that are jealous of us. There are people in this world that think that we're too big for our britches. There are people in this world that want to knock us down a notch. And as long as those things are going on, we need to make sure that we are protecting ourselves as much as we can.
Thank you so much, Kristin. Great points. Sherry, would you like to share anything before we go over to the comments?
I would love to. So I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I am also a legislative child advocate. And one of the things that I have discovered in the nonprofit space is requests to help orphanages out of the country. And what I do is I have a referral process where whatever the need is, whether it's school supplies, food, housing, clothing, I will refer them to someone else. And I find that when I do that, then I don't get requests as much. But there's always those that will, and this is really heartbreaking for me, is they'll actually show the children, which that is a big red flag. I don't, on my LinkedIn, I don't show where I work. I may talk about what district I'm in, but I don't show the children because they can be, they're vulnerable. And long story short, what I have found is I actually had a friend that was able to look into this country that that he actually did outreach for the orphanages in this country, and it was not this was not his orphanage. It was someone else's. So you know, we just have to please take care of our children and not expose them to the creepers and the scammers. And Kristen, in my classroom, I do use wackadoodle often, so I love that.
Oh, thank you so much, Sherry. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna go over to the comments really quick because I see some really good information in there for us to know. Gregory says social media platforms present community guidelines as their legal CYA only. If you all know what CYA means, please let us know. When it comes time to enforce them through self-policing or user reporting, it's easier and lower risk to silence the victim than it is to hold the predator accountable. Sad but true. Thank you, Gregory, for that insight there. We also have, I read something in the comments about WhatsApp. So I think that one is definitely a hot topic to talk about. I've received myself several requests to share my WhatsApp number, and I prefer not to share it. I've shared it to several people, and my phone number was actually shared out that now I'm consistently getting messages from unknown numbers, and I'm even getting like scam messages. So be very careful with your phone number when you're sharing that. I see we have Sharon made a comment. She said, I blocked someone and then that same person showed up with a different profile. So I blocked them again. I've seen that before too, with one person having multiple profiles. Have you guys experienced that, ladies? Yes.
Yes, and Marcia, or Martha, pardon me. CYA is cover your bum bum. So I just wanted to share that. I learned that just recently, but it's not really bum bum, you know what I'm saying? But
Thank you.
you're welcome. I discovered that when someone has like not that many connections, or they don't show their photo, that's kind of a red flag, because while I understand the anonymity and perhaps they're new, I just love the idea of that coffee chat, because then, oh sorry, it's my pup. Then you know what to expect. So
Also, too, just to chime in real quick on that, if you literally, it's check and verify. You can go to their page, and you can, okay, so like Marsha was talking about, you can verify it. The only reason I'm not verified is for some reason my phone has a weird thing, and I try to take a picture of my ID, and it just whatever, it's not works. I've been working on that, but so that's one thing, is if they're verified. Number two, look at their posts. Have they made one post in 6 months? Have they made posts every day? Are they commenting on, it's sort of just don't just approve every connection request that you get. If you are, especially too, like if you just see somebody you know, that's like there's an individual that will frequently pop up with one name, and then he'll do like a reiteration of his name. Like nobody's gonna know. Like it'll be just a different. It'll be sort of the same name, but you're like, wait a minute, that is. And then you look, and they're like, they have like 6 connections, or they'll have like six followers or whatever. But then it'll be like you have 100 connections or something in common. Okay, wait a minute. So basically what they've done is they've gone through either yours or a friend of yours friend group, and have just been like connect, because we're all on LinkedIn, and we all want to be like, oh, we're building this network and this community, and this could be good for me. And especially those of us, and I know every one of us on this call works and dedicates our lives to nonprofits. And not what do we do in nonprofits? We need support, and we need money, and we need donors, and we need people fighting for our causes. So what do? We probably lay in a lot more people than we should, because we're like, well, I'm just going to get, maybe they could be a potential blah, blah, whatever. So, but just pay attention, do your due diligence. If somebody sends you a connection request, go through their profile, go through, read some of the posts that they wrote, and like, it could be either A, they're legit and they've made a bunch of posts, or B, they're legit and they just made a bunch of posts you don't agree with. Well, that's also fine. Or C, they've got a post here, they've got a post there, or they're just sharing people's posts, not making their own posts, and they all happened in like a week period or something. So if you really pay attention and you're looking at these things, they're not really hard to pick up. However, there are some like, I work with anti-money laundering, and we work in scams, and there's an organization called the Noble, which is really good. And we do a lot of just different we fight human crime, through people that scam elders. Oh, and like Aaron West with Operation Shamrock. So there's the thing called pig butchering, which is not pig butchering at all. It's just a scam that people are doing. It's sort of like if you get a text on your phone and it'll be like, hey, haven't seen you lately, let's get together for coffee, from a random number. And you'll respond and be like, oh, who is this? And then they'll be like, or whatever. And then they'll try to continue a conversation with you. And they'll be like, oh, this is Laura from da da da. I saw you at this whatever. And you're like, I don't know any Laura. But then they'll be like, oh, well, hi. Well, nice to meet you. Like, they'll continue that conversation. And it's like, just don't even feed into that. Like, if you get unknown texts, unknown messages, unknown stuff, just block. I'm telling you, 99.9% of the time, it's a scam. And there's somebody that's trying to fleece you out of something that you've got.
Thank you so much, Kristin, for that insight. Jane, I'm passing the mic back over to you.
Got it. I want to share that Miss Kristin, I tend to want to help every organization. So Kristin really helped me. So I took time to reallocate my energy and my time. And Kristin really helped me research all the organizations that come to me and all the organizations that I'm currently connected with. And I really just dialed it down to 5 currently. And then I'm going to rotate just for my own sanity. But I'm going to ask Kristin to share how we verify nonprofit organizations, because that has been super duper duper important to me, because again, unfortunately, there are bad people out there, and they're going to use children, human trafficking, elders, dogs, orphanage, whatever it is that speaks to our heart, right? Because we share, and we're very transparent on LinkedIn, our missions and our passions and whatnot. So I would love if Kristin can share the resource that we use to verify these organizations. And I think it's really important that we also look and see, are they actively still have these services available? Are they actively have these programs? Maybe they did at one time. And so if they're soliciting funding, but they're not actively providing services or programs, ask those questions. I've asked those questions. And I think that's it for now. So back to you, Martha.
I think it's Kristin. I think did you ask her she was going to provide us with the resource?
Yeah, I'll put the links in the chat for this. So basically, just real quick, if you are a 501c3 in America, or 501c4, which is if you're a nonprofit, you are a public trust company, which means that your tax information is all available online. So so you literally, so say for example, Jane's organization, it's just like a business. You get an EIN number. Okay. So say I want to look up Jane and I want to find out about her organization. So I can type in Jane's organization XYZ, whatever it's called, and then it'll come up with the EIN number. And then you can copy and paste that EIN number, and you could just be like, it's called the form. It's called a 990. So a 990 is what, if you want to equate that to, so you know how we as individual citizens have to file a 1040. So a 990 is what a nonprofit has to file, and it shows where every penny goes to. So it could be to operational costs. It could be to, to executive directors or the board's getting paid or travel costs or whatever. And you can vet that organization. It's very easy. There's a site called ProPublica, but you don't even need to know that. You literally can just type in the name of the organization or their EIN and then type form 990 and it'll pull it up, and you can get so much information from that. Also, it is a federal law that if you go to a nonprofit that is a 501c3 and you say, hey, I want to see your 990s, they by federal law have to give you their 990s. So you can ask these questions. So if there's someone that's trying to be like, hey, I'm with this organization and we're trying to donate, we're trying to raise money. Would you like to donate money? And this also works for other countries, and it's a different process, but they're still available. So just know that there are a system of checks and balances, and there is a system of accountability set up for these types of things. So again, all publicly, available information. And I've got like 5 or 6 links that I'm going to put in the comments of this event details. So, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Sherry.
Sorry, I just want to add one more small thing. If you make a donation, also the nonprofit that you make the donation to should have a form that they give you so that they can take back to their business that this is a charitable donation and for tax purposes. If all else fails, because I love all the information you have, Kristin. Sometimes I forget and I wonder, I would like to donate, but how in that moment, how can I prove that, so
you just call me. Just call me.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Call Kristin.
So thank you so much, Sherry, Kristin, Jane, for talking about that. I mean, it's really the reality that we're all going through. I just started a nonprofit. I'm learning as I go, as you all know. I'm asking questions every day. I'm being very transparent.
We're so proud of you. We are so freaking proud of you, dude.
It is. I'm hustling. But I do want to share a couple more comments because I know we're coming close on time. I see that Sama said, if you feel a person is fishy, do not open any links sent to them. And I know a lot of us were connected with outside folks. So like any insights that you may have on these links, I know Sama has already advised me on what to watch for, but not a lot of people know because people can hack into your computers if you access that link. So if you want to share anything from your standpoint, please do. Jane, Kristin, or Sherry?
I do know that there's a big time scam that they can do with Cash App. So I know you guys have gotten those like Facebook messages as like, oh, I want to bless somebody today. What's your Cash App? And I don't know how that works, but there's something to where if you send them your Cash App, they can somehow drain it. So if you don't know the person, just don't. But especially, I say Cash App and WhatsApp. I don't know, maybe it's the word about the app, but Cash App and WhatsApp are two of the most dangerous apps that you could use.
Okay.
So from my experience,
Yep. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Sherry.
Oh, sorry. I'll make this short. So from what I understand, and I'm in the beginning phases of learning this. If someone wants money on Cash App, they'll send you a request. And that's where you have to provide the information. And that's the scam, I believe, Kristin. Otherwise, if you want to make a donation to someone, you should, on your own fruition, be able to make that donation. Does that make sense? So, thank you.
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you so much. I'm not really familiar with the app WhatsApp, but I personally I like to stay away from it as much as possible. I'm just going to share a couple more comments. Camille's in the building. Hello, Camille. Great topic. I see Jackie's here with us as well. Camille Jones, great to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us. I see we have Cooper. What kind of argument is that? A coffee chat? What? Oh, yeah, coffee
I love
chat.
Cooper.
I know.
Aloha, Cooper.
It's okay. He said it's coffee chat that is not for redundant covering the surface level stuff like that's on a profile. It's to see how well people get along and what other common grounds there is. Perfect. Thank you so much, Cooper. And we see we have Jackie here. She said, "Love that your connections are so authentic, Jane Lung." Thank you. And Camille, welcome. And we have Keith. If you can't get on camera with me, that's sketchy. I don't care. We agree 100%. Camille said she accepts all women requests. Love. And then we have Amy. I feel bad to almost always decline connection requests from foreign countries. It's all up to you.
Hey, Amy, I'll take this one real quick because I know Amy. She's a personal friend of mine. Amy, do not feel bad about that. That is, I do that sometimes too. But what I do is I look to see what are these people doing. Like why are they connecting with me? Because there's two reasons that people from another country would connect with me. Number one is because they're fighting trafficking, and number two is because they think I'm cute and want to holler at me. That's literally it. And these are, and I don't mean that to say anything bad about other countries. I'm just saying that's otherwise, like, there's just really no other reason. That's been my experience in thousands and thousands of connections. So no, do not feel bad. You're protecting yourself, and you can even you can deny the request. You can follow them without friending them, and you can watch their profile for a week or 2 or 3 weeks. And then if you're like, oh, hey, maybe they are somebody that I want to connect with, then you could connect with them. So just pace yourself.
And if I may say that, we're not saying that WhatsApp is not a usable resource of communication, because I communicate with my family in the Philippines on WhatsApp. So it's what we're basically saying is you set your own boundaries, and if you feel like it's wonky, it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I say one thing real quick, Marcia?
Yes.
So I know for me personally, boundaries are so hard for me. They're so hard. I don't have a great radar. I just don't. So I have to use these tools as far as analytically looking at, the things that we've all talked about. Or I call Jane and I'm like, is this person safe for me? Like, I have to have people in my life and my community that are like, no, this does not look like a great person. Maybe you should not be talking to them. Or this looks like an amazing person. So please know that your LinkedIn connections on this platform, your sis, and I'm saying this to the women because this is my experience. Your sisters on this platform are your sisters. We will look out for you. You will look out for us. This is a community. A lot of us spend a lot of time on this platform for a lot of different reasons. So we have to make sure that we're safeguarding each other and making sure that we are just use your, you, I 1000% can shoot Jane a message and be like, feeling a little weird about this. What do you think about this? And she will tell me exactly what the F she thinks immediately. You know what I mean? And so use those connections, use those friendships, invest time in those friendships, and develop those intentional relationships with other people on this platform, because I have found like some of the best friends I've ever had in my life on this platform. And there are people here that I trust with my life. And I just think that we need to be sure that we're utilizing them and just making sure that we're all just taking care of each other.
Thank you so much, Kristin. I'm just going to read a couple more comments. I want to make sure I get everybody here that's here before we start saying our last remarks. I see Felipe is in the house. Thank you, Felipe. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for being here with us. And I want to make sure I don't miss anyone. We'll be replying back in the comments to everybody. I see Brenda Lisa's in the building. Great topic. See you all here. Woohoo! Thank you so much for being here with us, Brenda Lee, sister. I also see Adibizi, very valuable information and tips. Thank you. I see Paul's in the house. Look at you go, friend. Whoop, whoop. Love that laughing emoji. Fortunately, this doesn't happen to me on LinkedIn. Oh, you are so lucky. But all the time on FB and IG. Interesting. Okay. The quality of work, your network as a creator will determine the performance of your content. Thank you, Paul. Okay, I think we are going to pass. I see we got a LinkedIn user. A great conversation, ladies. Thank you so much, LinkedIn user. I see Scott. Whoop, whoop. Hi, Scott. We love your laughing emoji. Thank you for being here. All right, I'll pass the mic over to Jane.
Closing comments for me. I'm going to say maybe 3 things. Trust your spidey senses. Trust your spidey senses. And if something doesn't smell right, look right, feel right, trust yourself or reach out to someone else, like Kristin does regularly, to say, hey, this doesn't smell right. Can you just take a quick glance? So that's the first thing. Second thing, I move super intentionally. So if you ever get a, hey, Jane said we should connect, or hey, I'm so-and-so from Jane, that's not going to happen. I always do my warm handshakes, together. So like if I was connecting Sherry and Kristin, I'd be like, hey, chicas, this is Cherry. She's great. She's a, kindergarten teacher. She's, doing this, that, and the other. Kristin, meet Cherry. Kristin is a badass, and she's a doer just like both of us. Happy connecting. So that's how I do my warm handshakes. Third thing, I can't remember right now because my mind's going. But I do want to say a big thank you to my wonderful women who showed up to share, educate, learn this evening, and I appreciate the way you guys move. I appreciate how supportive you are, and I appreciate how much you care for others. And Martha, even though I was super resistant, thank you for pushing me out of my comfort zone to do this. Yes.
Thank you so much, Shane. I love you and all you ladies here and our friends in the audience. Literally, we are a big family. We connect regularly. I speak to you more than I do with my own family. I mean, that is really says a lot. And I'm also very protective of the people that I do connect with, the people that I trust. They trust what I say, and I want to do the same thing, and I want to make sure that they're protected as well. So my last comments are, before you connect, before you say yes to all the connections, really review those profiles. And if you question it, don't connect. Or send a message and ask, why would you like to connect with me? What did you find interested in my profile, right? And start a conversation. And also, don't give out your private information, like Kristin said. What are identifiers, well, in healthcare, they are your address, they are your date of birth, the last four of your social, your phone number, your email even is an identifier. And also, when you have your legal name out there, we're already sharing, that's an identifier as well. So just be safe. If you have any questions, you can touch base with any of us here. We've learned from our own experiences, so you can connect with us at any time. Our names are here. We're all reachable through LinkedIn. Thank you. I'll pass the mic over to Kristin.
I'm just going to echo and just, piggyback off of what Marsha and Jane said. Thank you guys so much for inviting me. It was kind of last minute. When I saw you guys were doing a thing, I was like, why wasn't I invited? So thank you for inviting me. But I just love you three to pieces. And no, just if you're like, there are, I don't have, I personally, for me, I don't have that radar. I don't have that gut. I don't have that gut feeling. I don't have it. I don't know why I don't have it. So I've had to come up with solutions to correct that problem of evolution. So whether that's calling Jane, whether that's using my OSINT tools to research people, whether that's being extremely protective of who I talk to, whatever, I don't have that radar. I'm really bad at boundaries. Combine those two things, and I can find myself in a whole heap of trouble really quick. So just, it's not even about, for me, it's not even about like, oh, I've just got to be, on, edge all the time and like feeling like people are, trying to, take advantage of me or use me, whatever. It's because I don't think that way. A lot of us don't. So just use the people around you. Use the resources you have. Again, I'm going to put a bunch of resources in the comments. I'm happy to email them to anybody also if you would prefer to contact me that way. But there are safeguards that I've had to build out around myself because I'm a people person, but I'm not great at reading people. I'm terrible at reading people. So that's okay. If you're terrible at reading people, there are still things you can do to protect yourself. So thank you guys so much for allowing me to be with you. I love this. I think this should be a regular thing. I feel like we're like the cool version of The View. So I'm just going to say, so I'm just going to throw it out there. I think we should do this weekly with like different topics, but whatever. But I love you guys so much. And thank you everyone so much for logging on.
Sherry, we saved the best for last.
Oh,
She's who inspired us, everybody. Just know that.
thank you. First of all, happy Aloha Friday, especially to my Ohana Paul. And I speaking of Ohana, that is family in Native Hawaiian language. And our culture is that you treat everyone as though they are your family. And perhaps, Kristin, what may help you is if you're not being treated like you're loved and you're like family, then maybe they're not the one for you. And I would also say, as an empath, listen to learn. And I'm learning how to create boundaries myself. And I would say that's very important. Thank you. I love you all.
We love you too. Jane, go ahead and share, and then we're going to say aloha, adios, hasta mañana. Go ahead.
All right, I remembered because of my autism brain. You can be kind and empathetic, but still have boundaries. You can say no. You can call out bad behavior, and you can be assertive. I did create a post on all the little things that you can be kind, but you can also, have these other things in places. So remember that. Just because you say no doesn't mean you're unkind. Just because you hold someone accountable doesn't mean you're unkind. So again, much gratitude for everyone who showed up and anyone who contributed, everybody in the comments, and my crew.
Woohoo! All right, everyone. Have a great Friday evening. I know Kristin has an event coming up.
We will see you all at midnight. There are Starbucks cards.
Whoop, whoop. So have a wonderful evening, everyone, and we'll catch you on, if you're up late or morning, at Kristin's event in Noni. And what's the event's name? Kristin?
Sing your heart out.
Woohoo! And we'll have that in the comments if you'd like to join this tonight, late tonight, early morning. Bye, everybody.